So today we're going to make an Essex pleated mask, and it's very easy to do. What you need is 2 pieces of fabric in contrasting patterns. So we've got the mask piece, the main mask piece. It measures 9 by 9 inches, and this is the contrasting fabric we're going to use. We also have 2 side channels, and they measure 5 inches by 2.5. And I also have 2 lengths of 8 inches of elastic. So the first thing is to put the fabric right sides together, and we're going to sew the top and the bottom. So if there's a direction to the fabric, you just need to pay attention to that. And very easy. Just start with 1 row. And so what you have now is a tube, and we'll flip it inside out, and the next step is to iron them and to make the pleats. Okay, so now we have to flatten the pieces, so I'm ironing them on the outsides first, like this. And this is a super easy way to make the pleats without any pins. So first of all, you want to just iron the seams straight. Now fold the mask pieces wrong sides together, so like that. And you want to make a fold along here. Now you fold this like this in on itself until it looks like a Kleenex, like a folded Kleenex. Just give it a nice press on this side and that side, and you can see that I'm trying not to touch the center because I don't want that pleat from the center to disappear. Now if I fold it back like that towards myself, you can see that there are 3 folds on the fabric, and they make the pleats really easy. So you can pull the bottom fold towards the bottom of the piece and give that a little press. Now the center one, I can fold that towards the one that I've just made. Press it again, and the top fold. And if we look at this on its side, you can see that these pleats all fit right against each other. There's very little overlap, so they fit very smoothly. Let's just straighten that again. Okay, because we're going to be attaching the channel pieces next, and they measure 5 inches. So if you lay this on top like that, you can see that there's about a ½ inch on either side. That's really important. So what you want to do is take these channel pieces and lay them so right sides together on top of the mask. And now we're going to go back to the sewing machine. I have the channel piece here on top of the mask, so we have right sides together, and you just sew along the edge. You don't need any pins, and this, because the channel piece is lying on top of the pleats, it actually keeps them in place really nicely. And now we'll do the same thing with the other side. So you lay the channel piece on top. Make sure that there's about a ½ inch on either side. And what you have here is a pleated mask with 2 channel pieces attached. Okay, so now we're going to top stitch and finish off the channel pieces all in one go. So I use my nail here just to fold over this little piece of raw edge. And I'm working on the wrong side of the mask at this point. So I'm using my fingers to just keep the fabric down, and just sewing along like this. Now top stitching the top of the mask. here, I'm just folding over the other raw edge on the other side. It's a little bit trickier, but it's actually quite easy to do. You want to get a neat edge. And then let's do the other side. So again, fold over this. Bit of bulk there, you just want to tuck that in because we don't want it to show up once the mask is completed. What you have here is a mask with the side pieces, the channel pieces are finished off, and what we're going to do is hit the iron next. Okay, so I'm just pressing the mask just to keep it nice, and if you flip it over onto the wrong side, start by folding over the edge right on the one end. Let's fold it over like this, and it's a little bit scruffy on that side. Now, what you want to do is fold this piece over, and it needs to extend a little bit beyond this row of stitching. And you can see that very easily. You just want it to be a fraction over the row of stitching, and then press it. And it's going to make the stitching really easy. Okay, on the other side, let's do the same thing again. So first of all, we'll fold over the raw edge just a little bit. Give it some steam. Fold it over again, so there's a slight overlap over the stitching, and give it some steam. So if you're making this with elastic, at this point you could insert the elastic right in the channel, far away from where the stitching is going to be, and it means that you won't have to thread it through. So if we flip this over, we're going to stitch this on the right side. We're going to stitch along this line over here. Okay, so we're back at the machine. So what I'm doing is sewing this with the right side facing me. I have the elastic here in the channel, tucked away. We don't want to stitch anywhere near it. And what we want to be doing is stitching right in this channel here where the channel piece is, or right in the crease where the channel piece is attached to the mask. And because we have the channel folded underneath, we're going to catch the stitching on the other side, and hopefully it will look really, really neat. So I'm going to start with a back stitch because at this point it's really important for it not to come loose. And I'm giving it a good back stitch here as well. And that's one side done. Now you can see on the other side where the stitching just caught just at the edge of it, so it's nice and secure, but on the right side you can hardly see the stitching because it's right in the crease. Let's do the other side. So lay the elastic back in the channel, make sure it's not touching the where the machine is going, and I'm going to be stitching here in the crease between the mask piece and the channel. Let's start with a back stitch. And we'll end with a back stitch as well. And you can see that the measurements were a little bit off over here, but it will be fine when the elastic or the tie is in place. It's going to be just okay. Now this one I'm going to tie with a little knot. So there are two ways to do it. You can stitch it or you can knot it. If you make a knot, then try and use as little of the, you know, keep it right, put the knot right at the end, because you don't want the ties to be too short. And then what I'm doing is just turning this so that the knot is hidden inside the channel. There we go. And we'll do the same on the other side. Just tying a little reef knot. And we'll trim off any loose threads. And there's the mask completed.